Alright, so if you watched the last video, you knew this video was coming. We're going to be taking a look at how the New York Rangers are playing this season and how they project compared to last season. Stay ready, because this is not going to be a fun video to do. So, we're going to start with just the baseline stats, the ones that anyone could look at. Points, power play, goals for, goals against, yada, 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 this, that, and the other thing. So, in terms of points, this season, at the halfway point, the New York Rangers have 51 points. They are pacing for 44 wins and 102 points. Last season, the New York Rangers had 52 wins and 110 points. So, we're pacing for 8 less points and 8 less wins. No bueno. In terms of goals for per game, this season, the New York Rangers are averaging 3.24 goals per game. Last season, the New York Rangers scored 3.05 goals per game. So the Rangers are actually scoring more this season than they did last season. Goals against per game. The New York Rangers give up roughly 2.71 goals per game. Compared to last season, that number was 2.49 goals against per game. So New York Rangers were giving up less goals. They were also giving up less shots. Oh, speaking of which, we're getting to that in a minute. Okay, special teams, power play percentage. New York Rangers power play this season is producing at 23.7%. Last season, the Rangers were at 25.2%, so the power play took a slight step back, although a factor of 2% is quite large. This season, the New York Rangers penalty kill. This is where it's going to get pretty significant. 80.8%. Not a bad kill. Last season, 82.3%. So both special teams units took a dip by 2%, which is, again, pretty significant throughout the course of a season. In terms of shots generated per game, the New York Rangers last season, 32.6%. This season, the New York Rangers are shooting at a pace, or at a rate, of 29.2. I'm sorry, this is last year. 29.2. Whereas this season, the Rangers are shooting at 32.6. The Rangers are actually shooting the puck more, despite it feeling like they're not. Possibly because they're not scoring as well. It doesn't feel like they're scoring as much. Shots against per game. This season, the New York Rangers are surrendering. Oops, I gotta one more time. Are surrendering 29.3 shots against per game. Last season, the New York Rangers surrendered 30.8 shots per game. So they're actually suppressing shots better and shooting the puck more. Face-off win percentage. This season, the New York Rangers are at bottom of the barrel, 48.4%. Last season, the New York Rangers, I believe, were dead last. Oh, no, they were not. 48.1. So the power play, the face-off percentage really has not changed very much. So there you have it. So the Rangers are scoring more, but they're giving up more goals. Their power play is worse. Their penalty kill is worse. They shoot more, but they give up less shots. Kind of weird considering they're pacing for 8 less wins than they had last year. Miscellaneous stats. The New York Rangers, 1,096 hits. They are, we got to do hits per 60. Sorry, that's the more important number. It's per 60 minutes played. The Rangers are 6th in the NHL in hits per 60. Last season, the New York Rangers, and what was the number? 26.34. 25.28, but they rank higher. So the Rangers are hitting less. I honestly do not think that is true telling stat. I don't think it's a bad thing either. Blocks per 60. This season, the New York Rangers, in terms of blocks per 60, are blocking at a rate of 14.4. Last season, the New York Rangers blocked at 14.08. So we're not seeing very much discrepancy here. We're not seeing a big change. Giveaways per 60. The New York Rangers this season are giving away the puck 9.18 giveaways per game. Last year, the New York Rangers had 8.49, so pretty much one less giveaway per game. Not significant, but different nonetheless. Takeaways per 60. This season, the New York Rangers, in terms of takeaways per 60, are at 7.04. Last season, takeaways per 60, New York Rangers, 7.5. So we're really not seeing... See, this is actually pretty interesting. Because the Rangers, looking at these numbers, their rates are very similar to that of last year. Missed nets last year. The Rangers missed the net. losing my mind? There we are. 894, and they are pacing to miss the net over 1,000. Okay, so they're missing the net a lot more. Okay, they're missing the net a lot more. So you could really make an argument that the Rangers' failures this season could be just bad luck, because they're pacing almost exactly the same as they did last season. I mean, we're talking about small percentage points of discrepancies between this season and last season. Let's see. Let's go. Let's sort by penalties. Let's take a look if there's any difference in penalties this year. We're taking more if we're taking less. We saw the rates. Let's just see what we're doing. Okay. So this season, the New York Rangers are one of the more disciplined teams. 325 pins paces them for 650. Last season, the New York Rangers. So we're pacing to take less penalties. We're taking less penalties. What about penalties drawn? Are we drawing more penalties? Are we getting more opportunities on the power play? Let's see. Wow, the Lightning almost get 5 power. Jesus Christ. The Rangers, in terms of drawing penalties, 3.82 this season. So towards the bottom of the league in terms of drawing penalties. Last season, the New York Rangers were kind of in the same boat. They actually drew less penalties last year. See, this is I'm glad I did this, because the Rangers really, you could argue statistically, in the most baseline statistics, are putting up, as a team, better numbers this season than they were last season. But they're not winning as much. And they certainly look worse. That's bizarre. What is this? Leading, trailing. Oh, that's stupid. But that brings up an interesting conversation. That's really all I wanted to cover. This was just going to be a quick one. The players were going to be obviously a little bit longer. But that brings up a really interesting question. Like, the Rangers, in most categories, are... Actually, not most. In every category we looked at, are either outperforming or marginally, like just slightly underperforming where they were at last season. Yet we're pacing for 8 less wins and 8 less points. So what's the problem with the Rangers this year? Because their numbers would show you that they should be pacing at the almost exact same pace they were last year, but they're not. So what do we think the difference is? I mean, if you're going from a straight eye test, it looks like a different team. The Rangers look slower, they look less into it, but the numbers show otherwise. So you guys comment below, what are your thoughts? Because this was kind of interesting for me. I did not expect to see the numbers I saw, but again, here we are. You guys comment below your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.